Hello, hello. Carolyn Williams here with Money Reverse. We are here for 4 days to your 401k. And today's lesson is I'm in my retirement savings plan, my 401k or 403b, or any type of retirement savings plan, and I look at it. I see that it's growing, but how do I know if my returns are good? How do I know if my returns are good? So, welcome everybody. Come right on in. We are about to get started. So, what I want you to do is if you find that this is a question that you have, just ask any additional questions that you have here. We're going to take just a few short minutes and go through this, but I want this to be a very power packed 30 minutes or less lesson. So come right on in. We are coming up to National 401k Day. So, National 401k Day, for those of you that don't know, this is a holiday that was started in 1996 by the Profit Sharing and 401k Council of America. Let me tell you how it works. This is how you can remember National 401k Day. Because for 1 week of the year, and that is a week in September, early September, we start the week with work, with Labor Day, and we end the week with retirement with National 401k Day. So National 401k Day is coming up Friday after Labor Day, and at the time of this recording, we just had Labor Day. So what Money Reverse here, Carolyn Williams here with Money Reverse, what I want to do is come on and for this 4 days between work, Labor Day, and retirement, National 401k Day, I want to educate you on preparing yourself financially for that time. Now, I pray that for everybody, it takes much longer than 4 days to get you from beginning your work career to retirement. In the name of Jesus, with long life, He's going to satisfy us and we're going to have long, productive working lives. Amen. Whether you're working for yourself or working for someone else. But for this week, I want to take these 4 days and really give us some financial teaching on preparing for that time that we walk away from the workforce. So National 401k Day is when I do that. And I want this to become a habit for you too. So because the reason that they started National 401k Day was to be a reminder to check in on your retirement savings. That's exactly what the purpose was. And so with that, we want to take this time and use it as a reminder to say if you're in a retirement savings plan, and we call it National 401k Day, but the conversations that I'm going to have are for any retirement savings plan. It can be a 401k if you're employed in the private sector, a 403b if you work for education, if you work for medical professionals, nonprofit, that is a 403b. You can also have a TSP, Thrift Savings Plan. That is if you are a federal employee, if your uniformed services work for the federal government or city government or any type of governmental environment. They have what's called the TSP plan, Thrift Savings Plan. And then you can also have an IRA. If you're an individual that are self-employed or working for a small company that doesn't have elaborate plans to offer, there's also IRAs. You can do a traditional or Roth or SEP or simple IRA. You can also have a rollover IRA if you worked at one employer and wanted to move your retirement savings over to where you can manage it better, to move it out of their plan, but still keep it as a retirement savings plan. So that is a rollover parts of IRA. And then you can also be in 457, and that is deferred comp. This is for highly paid individuals that just want to defer, not get all of the money that's entitled to them for their compensation right now, because once you get the money, then that's when you have to pay taxes on it. If they say I'm highly paid and I don't really need all the money now, I would like to get some of my compensation when I walk away from the workforce. That's called a 457 plan, and some employers offer that, and that is available again for highly compensated individuals. Now, more information about everything that I've said in this first 3 minutes is in session 1 or 2. This is session 3. We're in day 3 because the Money Reverse approach to for National 401k Day is to have a session every day. And for day 3, this is how you doing? How you doing? You say, what do you mean? How you doing? Well, what I wanted to do is encourage you to really get in the retirement savings plan if you're not in. But what if you're in already? And you go, yeah, I'm already in. So the question is, how you doing? How you doing? How's your plan doing? How do you look at it? If you're already in, I'm going to tell you, I have a poll, and I'm going to get the link here and put this poll in, because I put a poll out here every day so that everybody that's coming to this and watching this, I want to know where you are in this. And the poll is, are you enrolled in a retirement savings plan? That is the question. So far, when I look at this, the results of this poll, still ongoing, I'm going to put it in the comments right now. If you have not responded to this poll, I'd like for you to respond to this poll. It's a 1-question poll. And the question is, how are you doing? I'm going to tell you about it right after I give you a disclaimer. The information provided here today is for educational purposes only. Any market information that I share is purely commentary and should not be construed as investment advice, nor should the information be construed as a solicitation to buy or sell any securities of any kind. So here is the poll. Are you currently in a retirement savings plan? So there's 3 answers that could be possible: yes, no, or I don't know. And you go, wait a minute, yes, no, or I don't know. Yeah, well, let me tell you. First of all, a retirement savings plan, just like I shared, it could be a 401k, a 403b. You could have an IRA. You can have be in TSP or a 457 plan, or in multiple of these. I have multiple of these. I am still in a 401k plan for one of the employers that I had, and I have multiple IRAs, everything from a Roth to a traditional rollover. I have multiple IRAs, so I'm in multiple plans. So the reason that I asked this is I want to know who I'm talking to, who's showing up here. And when I last looked at the poll responses, 100% of you are in some type of plan like this, which is great. I love this. I love it. So if you are not in a plan like this, that's okay. I want to give you enough information so that you can join the ranks of everybody that comes and watches this teaching on Money Reverse. Now, the third, it could be yes, no, or I don't know. You go, how would you not know? It is very possible that you don't know if you're in a retirement savings plan. What has happened over the last few years, and I'm excited that this has happened, is that a lot of companies will auto-enroll you up on higher. So you didn't have to go to HR and say, I want to join the 401k or the 403b. It automatically happened, and they automatically take a portion of your income. More than likely it's 3%. And they put you in the plan. And if you don't watch your paycheck stubs and see everything that's coming out, you may not know that money is coming out. And also it could be that this happened to you at one employer and you did not do anything. You left that employer, but didn't do anything when you left that employer. So that means your money is still could be still sitting in a 401k plan. So it is possible that you may not know. I'm just curious to know who's showing up here so that I can make sure that I tailor the lessons to be those that would fit you best. And if I don't share something that you have a question about, I want you to definitely feel free to post your questions in the comments, whether you're live here with me or whether you're watching on the replay. I'm going to be monitoring these comments. If you're watching this 6 months after, 6 months or more after this is recorded, definitely be sure to post your questions if you have them. If there's a question that you think I can answer, I just don't want to have it go unanswered because you just didn't join me live. That's not how we roll here at Money Reverse. So now I'm going to ask, let's take this scenario. I'm in. How am I doing? I'm in the retirement savings plan, and I pull it up and I look at it every now and then. And yeah, I see that it's making money. If this is something that you have if this scenario fits you, just say, yeah, that's me. I see that it's making money, but how do I know if it's doing well or not? How do I know? Let me kind of share some things with you. These are some things that I want you to do if this is you. Number one, log on to view your account and go to statements. If you've never logged on, this is where you call HR or you go to your company website and they can help you, give you a link. Everything's digital these days. You don't need to go sit down with anybody in HR because HR has the administration of the plan, but they're not going to be able to give you any advice or anything like that. That's not their role. Remember, this is not a savings account. It's an investment account. So with that, they're not going to be able to help you on your investments or investment choices. For that matter, even the financial partner that works with your company, whether it's Fidelity Investments, Vanguard, Mass Mutual, whichever the financial company is, they're going to be able to give you some generic advice, but they're not going to be able to help you with your investments. They can answer your questions, but they can't deliver answers to you and provide you that investment advice without some type of an agreement that you have with them. So let's just say if you're in it and you want to know how you're doing, log onto your account and go look at your statements. I want you to also take note of your investment choices. Remember, this is an investment account. So there's 3 things that your account can be sitting in. The monies that are in your account, it can be in stocks, bonds, or cash. So I want you to take note of which ones you're in. And then at the same time, as an aside, I didn't put it here, but since you're there looking, I also want you to look at all of the investment choices that are available to you. If you can copy them off in a PDF or print them off just so you can look at them later, then I want you to do that. Just so you know, because this is an investment account. And again, and from our other lessons, you have full responsibility of managing this account. So if you want to know how you're doing, first take note of what you're in within your account. Stocks, bonds, or cash. And you can tell a lot of times by the name of the investment fund that you're in. If you've never chosen these funds, there are some default funds that your company put you in. So I want you to take note of what you're in. Remember, it's called a retirement savings plan, but this is really an investment account. What I want you to do when you look at your statement, look for performance. I want you to look at the year-to-date performance. What has it done from January 1 of this year until now at whatever time you're looking at it? And then I want you to look at the 1-year performance, the last 12 months performance. And your statements it's gonna have that. Your statement probably comes in once a quarter. So if you look at the once a quarter, it probably will have the year to date on there as well. So basically find the performance, and the performance is how are your investments playing out? How are your investments doing for you? That's what's in the performance area of this statement. That's why I wanted you to go to the statement. Now, another thing I want you to do, I hope that we don't need to do this, but just when you're dealing with your money at any time, make sure the math is right. Make sure that the numbers line up, that the balance from the last statement, plus any additions that's been there, plus any profits or losses that's come from your ends up being the the current balance, less any fees. Just make sure that the math is right. Just make sure. People make mistakes. I would like to think that this is an automated process and you're not going to have to worry about the math being wrong. But anytime I'm dealing with money or I'm dealing with anything with numbers, I'm going to make sure that everybody else's math is good. So I always put that down. Make sure the math is right. And then the final thing that I want you to do is compare your year-to-date account performance to the current market returns. Compare your year-to-date account performance to the current market returns. Because when I say, how you doing? And you go, yeah, it's making money. That's good. And I've heard people say this before. Yeah, I look at my retirement savings and it's making money. Yeah, I can see that it's making money. Is it making the right money? Is it making the money that you're expecting? And then most people that I share that were, and as a result of not having expectations, many of them became my clients and we set some expectations for this money. So with that, I want you to have some expectations of what you're wanting to see your returns do. When you make a plan for how you are going to deal with this money when you move into retirement, because when you move into retirement, then you're not going to just go take all the money out at one time. There's going to be a process for taking this money out. And we'd like to see that the amount of money that it's making is more than the amount that you're taking out each year. And therefore, your account continues to grow even though you're in retirement. That's the ideal place to be. That the amount of money that your investments are bringing in, like I said, if your investments bring in $8 a year over 12 months, and you need to take out $60,000 a year for your living expenses for your life, then guess what? That's an extra $20,000 a year that your account is going up, even though you're not contributing from your workplace anymore because you're no longer employed. So I want you to have some expectations, because when you start to really look at what do you do with this account at the time of retirement, if you hire me as a coach and we write out a plan for how this money is going to work, there is a clear expectation of what I'm going to help you set clear expectations as to how you withdraw this money. How you withdraw this money is going to become very important. It's going to become the lifeline of whether you have enough money for the rest of your life or not. So we're not going to go on that first day that you retire and just go get whatever you think you need. How much you need, still digging down in the barrel. No, we need some for that too. Let's keep getting, let's get some more while we at it. No, we're not doing that. No, we're not going to do that. I mean, if you're my client, we're not going to do that. If you're not my client, you can do it however you want. But I'm going to advise you, if you're not my client, that's not what we do. We want to have a financial life in retirement that is of peace. So therefore, you don't want to be worried about money. You don't want to spend everything in the first 5 years of your retirement, or you're going to be one of those individuals that have to go back and get a job again, and not because you're just bored, because you really need it for the financial security. I'd rather you stay in the workforce and continue to put money in, or move to a part-time basis with another job and still continue to save before you start drawing it out, if that's going to be the case. That would be my recommendation. So now, how am I doing? How am I doing? If you don't have expectations, I'm going to show you how we can set expectations. And that is this last: compare your year-to-date account performance to the current market returns. Now, I'm going to do this only for if we're talking about stocks. Remember, your investment account for your retirement savings, it could be in stocks, bonds, or cash, or cash equivalents, which would be money market funds. So with that, let me kind of assume that you're only in stocks. I'm going to tell you a couple of things I want you to do. First thing I want you to do is, you say, Carolyn, how do I know what the year-to-date returns are for the stock market? Let's go to the ultimate teacher, Google. This is what I did today after the market closed. I went to Google and I said, what is the year-to-date YTD S&P return? You can see it right here circled in my Google search bar. What is YTD S&P return? The S&P 500 is an index of 500 stocks that give you a good overview of what's happening in the overall market. It's not the every stock in the market, but it's 500. So it kind of gives you a good overview of the gist of what the feel and what the weather is in the market. And so I did that. I'm going to remove my picture so you can see better. I did that today after the market closed, and what it came back with is right here. The things I want you to note is what is circled. So at the bottom here, see this 1D? That's a 1 day. You can look here and you can see the returns of the S&P for all of these time periods that are listed on the bottom. By default, it's going to come up to the 1 day. So what I circled was the return percentage, 0.32%, down in the red, down 0.32%, which is 14.34 points today. So the S&P 500 is down today. Now, what we want to do is look at year to date. So you see right over here where the red arrow is, I want you to click YTD right here on this Google return, this Google response. And when you do that, it's going to take you to what it is year to date. You can see the blue line is under YTD. That is circled, and we can see right here where I have circled in the green, 16.40% year to date. So if you look at what the S&P 500 has returned in the market, what has been the performance, and the S&P 500, which is the de facto standard for watching the entire market, you can see that so far as of today, which is 9/7/2023, this S&P is up 16.40%. So how are you doing? Is your return 16.40%? Probably not. I wouldn't expect that it would be. The only way that you're going to have, but I want you to know what the market's doing. So you can look at your return and say, okay, I'm going to be lower than the market because I'm not invested just like the market. If I'm in all stocks and invested just like the S&P, then yeah, you would have that same return, but that's not how you're invested. That's why we need to make note of what we're in. This is just one thing that came back at 16.34%, which is the de facto standard overall how the market's doing. If we looked at the NASDAQ, which is tech stocks, that's up 32% for the year. So then what happens if you see your returns for your retirement savings account at 2%? And you go, how does that, are you doing okay? Then so, okay, stocks are up 16%, technology's up 32%, I'm up 2%. What am I in? Because remember, this is your account to manage. I want you to have expectations, but there are a few things that I want you to note, and that's right here. Number one, your returns are not going to match the market unless your investments match the market indices. So unless you are in an index fund for the S&P, you're not going to have the same return as the S&P. So when I said, look at all of the investment choices that your plan has, see if they have any index funds that match market, that match the Dow, that match the S&P. Your fund that your company offers you may have that. They do offer some great investment choices. I can tell you, I have worked to coach people on retirement savings plans, and I'm going to tell you, the investment choices that companies, and I've looked at several companies' plans as a result. If you wanted to have me coach you on looking at your retirement savings plan, just reach out to me, send me a message or put something here and I'll get back with you because I didn't put anything here for that. But I'm going to tell you, and looking at different companies, 401k plans, and I've looked at the TSP, I've had some enlisted clients, individuals that are active military duty that are my clients. Looking at what they offer, they are making they have some good investment choices there. You do not need to take your money out of these accounts to get in some good investment choices. They're there and they're available for you. You just have to pick them. You just have to look through what your plan is offering and get one that matches, that goes along with what's happening in the market. If you see that the S&P is doing well this year, I would do this kind of, and that's what I would look at this every quarter. Then you may want to see if there's an S&P index fund. If you see that energy is doing well, which it is, then you may want to go look to see if there's some energy funds that you can get in. So it's all about understanding what's going on in the market. And if you don't understand what's going on in the market and don't really have a way to do that, then that's where you may need to hire somebody to help you do that. Or just you can buckle down and you can learn this yourself. This is not something that you cannot learn yourself. I don't want you to think that the only way for you to get your retirement savings plan to perform better is that you hire somebody. You can buckle down. It is not difficult. They give you a lot of information, a lot of charts and graphs. So you can look at the returns of all of the things that they offer to you. Now, if you are less aggressive, your market returns will be lower than the regular market returns. If you have and all of these funds, they give you an opportunity to look at your investing temperament. In Money Reverse, I call it your investing personality. If you have a less aggressive investing personality, then even though the S&P is up 16.40%, I want you to expect that your returns are going to be much less than that, because you're not going after things the way the S&P is going after them. I want you to expect your returns to be, between 9-10%. That's what I would expect. If you're super conservative, you want to be lower than that. If you're moderate, I'd say between 9 and 10%. And if you're super conservative, I would expect that your returns are going to be even less than that, maybe in the 6 to 7% range. So with that, don't think that you're going to return the same thing as the market unless you're invested exactly like the market. And if your investing temperament is more conservative, more cautious, then don't expect that you're going to get those same market returns, because the trade-off for that is peace of mind. Because if we have a big down day, those very aggressive investors like me, we will see our portfolios pull back really strongly on a big down day, because I'm a pretty aggressive investor. But I know I say that enough so that my clients and my students know, don't do everything that Carolyn does, because she's pretty aggressive. And I'm very open and straightforward with what I'm doing, so everybody would know. It's like, oh no, I can't go where she's going, because what she's doing makes my heart beat fast. Then don't go there. So with that, I want you to set some expectations. And those expectations are going to be that your returns are going to be lower if you're less aggressive. And if you're invested in something other than stocks, think about cash. The cash or cash equivalents that are in your account are going to return just like a bank savings account. So it's going to be less than 1% probably. So if you have cash or you're in a cash equivalent money market fund, you're going to make less than 1%. So I want you to start to have some expectations for what your returns are. And then to adjust your performance variance, suppose if you say, I am at a 4% return and the S&P is at 16% return. Then I need you to look at, if you say, I don't like that big of a difference between 4% and 16%, I want to get at least 9 to 10%. Then that's where we need to go and look at what things are you invested in and what options do you have available to you in your plan, so that you can go pick some different investment options within your plan. This is not about taking any money out. It is about just managing your money inside your plan. I'm going to tell you, this is what I did for years. I remember, as I shared in earlier lessons, this is the biggest brokerage account that you will ever have. I would go and do research. I just knew what was happening in the market. If I knew that healthcare stocks were doing well, then what I would do is I would go and find the healthcare options in my company's retirement plan, and I would go move hundreds of thousands of dollars over in healthcare. That's aggressive. If I knew energy was doing well, I'd go move $200,000 over into energy, because I knew that over the next 3 or 4 months, that thing was going to return like gangbusters. When I'm watching the market and I see that energy's falling off, then I'd go move it into technology. If I see technology is getting real big. And so I was seeing, I beat the S&P every year, and I still beat the S&P every year in my investments. And that's because I watch the market and I play the market just of what's going well. There's no gain. I just go, energy's doing well right now. Is the best sector that's happening right now. So guess what? I put more money in energy stocks and energy funds right now, probably from now, probably until the first of the year, so that I can have the most money I can in the area that's making money right now. So that's what I do with my clients and with my students. And so with that, that's what I want you to start to think about. How you need to know a little bit more about the market, because if you are in a retirement savings plan, you're in the market. You need to know a little bit more about the market. Okay. Now, post any questions that you may have right here. It is time for you to ask questions and I will answer them. And if you're watching this on the replay and you have questions later, definitely post your questions here. And if you say, wait a minute, I have never done anything like this. I have a retirement savings plan and I look at it, but I've never had expectations for what I'm looking for it to do this year. And the reason I want you to really look at the market, because if your retirement savings plan is not making any money, but also it's a down year like it was in 2022, no harm, no foul. There's no problem with that. If the market's not making money, then I'm not going to make money. I'm completely okay with that. So don't get bent all out of shape if you say, oh my goodness, my 401k is down. What's the market doing? It's down. That's okay. That's par for the course. That's what's expected. So I want you to really look at expectations and get some expectations for your returns. If you would like to have a coach or someone to help you with this, reach out to me, send me a message or post something in the comments here, and I'll schedule some time with you. And as a matter of fact, I'll see if I can get a link and put here in the comments. I'll put a link to schedule some time with me in the comments after I end the live stream, because we're coming up to time where I'm going to close out. So I'm here to answer your questions. But in the meantime, I want you to know that we are National 401k Day, and I want you to be more empowered. If you are watching this either live or on the replay, and if you're feeling more empowered this year about your retirement savings plan after watching these, then just say empowered. Let me know this is helping, because that's the whole goal. I want you to take this time, and I take this time to really look at what's going on in our plans and say, how do we get to where we're more fortified this year than last year? It's about each year getting better and better. So you're just going to learn a little every year. And so with that, we have our final session tomorrow, which at the time of this recording, tomorrow is Friday, September 8th. Happy National 401k Day to everybody. We will have our final session on tomorrow, same time, 8:30 p.m. Central Time, right where you're watching me right now. So with that, I want to say thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in our final session. Have a good one, everybody.